Hey guys, so we've been here doing this since February, but we'll just run through, this we started this with James and Nicole just on residential, and it's brought to you by Virtual REI Academy. We have emails, we have YouTube channel, so this will be up on the YouTube channel after we're done. And I don't know if we have that there, but we also did a webinar on creative methods and buying and stuff. So that one, I'd definitely take a look at that, and we'll put the link in the comments for that too. But we're just, we're trying to give back, teach you guys about all the mistakes not to make that we have made in the past, or things that have worked out well for us. And so we're just trying to give back and teach everybody something, and build a little community here where we can all help each other out and not make mistakes. And with that, we'll get started. We're gonna do a little walkthrough. It's kind of a case study, so I kind of feel like it's almost what Nicole did. It's going to be on a rehab, and it's kind of going to start from the very beginning to how we got it, and then walk through it'll probably go several months, and we'll just pick out certain weeks that we're going to go through it, when, sometimes there might not be anything happening, and sometimes there might be a lot happening. But basically we're just going to cut it up in, how we got it all the way to the sales date, and when we sell it at the end of the term. Hopefully this
play a little video for you guys. That we do a lot of advertising and try to do some social media, because putting videos on platforms make a difference. People listen to the videos more than just when you add content. It resonate with videos and photos and pictures. So here's
Is there supposed to be sound?
Oh, you don't hear it?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. I'm sorry. It didn't come through. We can hear it on our side. So you can't hear it over there?
No, I think there's a setting down by the microphone that might say something like computer or internal.
There we go with technology again.
Speaker, audio, same system. Switch to, it says audio settings.
Do you have one that says same as system under select a speaker?
So it was like 19 seconds. We can reenact it. Just basically said we were in Gary, Indiana. We were looking at a house that we got a lead on, and we were about to lock it up under contract because we went and looked at it. So that was that quick 19-second video.
But we do have properties in many states across the country, and Indiana is one of our states that we really like, and we have a lot of our holds there. We were in Gary, Indiana for a conference that was put on by a guy named Tom Olson that does a lot of investing in Gary. He's got a really good setup and all. So he invited us over there to speak on stage about what we do in our niche. And while we were there, we were looking at different properties and, finding our next flip and rehab. And we came upon this one that we were talking about. It's 608 East Ridge Road in Gary. Now this house, there's some pictures you see here. It's a masonry house, which is a pretty strong foundation, good bones. It's got a nice garage in the back. It's a large yard with a fence. We had an opportunity to purchase this house for $45,000 plus closing costs. Now, the owner reached out to us and said that he will discount it to $42,500 plus he would split closing costs with us. But the caveat is we had to close it within 3 weeks. So obviously we had to get our private money together more quickly and get the paperwork rolling fast in order to partake in the discounted price.
The discounted
price,
which we always like a discount.
Now let's start out with the lead and how we got this.
So the fella in the picture is actually our contractor. So that's Javier. And we started out with him just potluck. We stumbled onto it, whatever. We built a relationship, and a lot of the things that we've got done with him, we actually have not seen in person. Like we FaceTime or different things, but this particular house, because we were out there, so not only also got to meet up with him, had a nice long meal with him, and kind of talked about some stuff, but the lead actually came from him, and that's the good part about relationships. Is this probably we would have never saw this. It wasn't on a wholesale list, it wasn't on MLS, it wasn't anything to do with anything. Javier knew the owner, and basically the guy said, hey, I'm looking to sell one or two of my houses. I'm going to start with this one. So right away he called us. So before it even hit the market or even got out to anybody else, we had the opportunity because Javier, gave us a call and said, hey, it's got really good bones. I've seen it. I went and looked at it. So then we just, you just go with it because he's already flipped 3 or 4 houses for us. He's already, they look after our other houses with the rentals. He does the maintenance on those. So, we take what he says, and then we also had the opportunity to go see it. But and we've also partnered with him as well. Like, so we've just went 50-50. He brings the house, we bring the money, we split. So it just goes back to that relationship that we always talk about. It's all about the relationships, and this very good house came to us from him, and he's going to get to do the work on it, and we'll go from there.
And that brings up another point. When you do business and you have people on your team, it's good to have people on your team who are also investors themselves. They understand it. They know the ins and outs of things. Like, we like to try to get realtors that have a little portfolio or have a lot of knowledge about renting houses, holds, flips, have maybe their own portfolio. They're investors, and he is an investor. He has some houses that he has rentals. He's flipped on his own, and that's how we were able to do partnerships with him. So this business, it's really the more years that go by that we're investors, the more we realize that the key is strong relationship building and partnerships. You'll propel and get further. Like, if we didn't build a really good friendship and a relationship with him, like Jane said, we would have never gotten this house. Now he gave us access to the owner of this house, who's an investor. And Jane said that he's got a whole portfolio of houses and he's trying to unload about half of them. So who will have access to get to those houses first? Javier and us. So it's, it keeps on, the boulder keeps rolling down the hill, and just we keep attracting more and more. It really makes a difference.
And right away that, with Javier, like the investor put us on group text. So everything we did was very transparent. We didn't try to cut Javi out. We didn't, go try to do an end around, like none of that. It was all very transparent. We had those conversations about, the 3 weeks and getting it closed. And so everybody was on board with that. And, in the meantime, I'm also trying to build a relationship with the seller, letting him know that we're going to close. And if the EMD was supposed to be in, we got it in. If it was, if we had any issues, I sent him a message and said, hey, we're at the house. It looks great. So just keeping that contact, and then, he knows that we did what we said we were going to do.
The particulars in the evaluation. This house is a 13 square foot single family house. It has 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom and a detached garage. It's a pretty large garage behind the house. It's a very nice, large fenced in yard. It's, got very good bones. Like I said, it's masonry house. It's, hardwood floors all throughout, nice, large bedrooms. Now, the comps are rated 100,000 for the house as it is. The rents are $1,050 a month. Luckily, there's no deed restrictions. There's no HOA or any of that there. So pretty much can do what we want with the house. And the property taxes are relatively low. They're less than 2,000. And as you know, the property taxes are going up everywhere. So it actually went up. So that's the latest property tax amount. The area, we always look at the area, and this is not in the middle of Gary or in a rough area in Gary. It's actually the outskirts of town, and it's close to the university there, which it's, that's a well sought after area. It's next to an empty lot on one side, and unfortunately the other side is a house that's kind of run down and vacant,
which we're gonna try to get.
yes, so that's a good thing. We could, get that house too. And then, and that is the side street that backs up to a side street. So that whole section that is, vacant area, this house and then the other house. And behind it backs up to a nice neighborhood. They're nice homeowner neighborhood where, it's working class. And they keep their yards nice. We rode around the different neighborhoods behind there, and everybody's, keeps their yards and their houses nice. So it's like nice working class. So we were happy with that.
And that's one of the things we do when we are on site. It's great to drive around at 8 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but we actually go at night. So we try to go like after midnight, because nothing good happens after midnight if you're out and about. So that's generally when you'll, if there's a whole bunch of drug dealers or, crime and stuff, that's when you'll see it. So we typically, when we go to these places on site, we try to go in the middle of the night. That way you can kind of really see what the flavor of the neighborhood is and what's going on.
Exactly. And looking at the area of houses too, you want to look at the ingress and the egress, making sure there's more than one way in and out, and that the house isn't sitting on a major busy highway. That's what we look at. We don't like to, houses be on a busy highway. We want it to be, in nice areas around it. We don't want it to be too much in the inner city, but we don't want it to be rural either, where there's no, shopping or places to go, no jobs to be had. We always look for that area where there's a Walmart, grocery stores, community center, different things like that. So that's important. And the strategy for this house is we want to flip it. We want to fix it and put it right back out on the market and sell it. To really do that and to get a better ARV and a better spread, we're talking to Javier about converting it to a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. And he said it could very easily be done with this house. And there is a open screen room, and he's going to close that off to make it more of a sunroom. And that would add additional square footage, a livable space to the house. So we reached out to the realtor that we always use in that area, and she was able to provide comps based on the added rooms and the square footage, the additions that we're going to do. And it brings it up $50,000. So from $100,000 ARV, the new comps are at $150,000 ARV. So it's quite a big jump and a spread, just doing those couple adjustments to the house. So that's going to be our strategy and what we're looking for now to do. And we always have exit strategies, especially we add more exit strategies to the plan, especially when it's sight unseen or it's in different states and we're not there. So there's the rental rates are $1,000, and the rents will go up with a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom as well. So they'll go up to like $1,300. So that'll be a higher rental spread. And we can always lease option it, have them rent it for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and then decide to buy it at the end of whatever term we decide, or just straight out owner finance it to somebody, have them make a down payment and then make payments until, for that agreement for deed. Did you want to add anything to that?
No, it's just, you always have to have your exit strategies, and any of these would work because the numbers, we'll probably be all in for, less than 70 and the rents. And typically, the rentals are actually a lot higher in that area, probably 12 to 1,300, but you know, a lot of people are charging the higher rents, and then, you know, people are moving in, they can't afford them and they're moving out. So we try to keep the rents a little bit lower than what, you know, we're just not raising the rents just because everybody else is doing it. So it's just different strategies to, if we had to get out.
That's a good point, because if you price everybody out of the rentals, then you're going to have turnover. And as you know, when you have turnover, that
You have
costs
to
you
fix
money, because you have to go in there, paint it, repair the issues, and then put it on the market again. And you're losing months of rent. Plus, you know, if they can't afford it, a lot of times you have to evict them. So you have to go through the extra time and monetary value of, you know, the costs of the eviction and the paperwork, and then finally getting them out, and then taking time to get the right person in there. And this area would be great to have, you know, we would do Section 8. That way you have guaranteed income coming in from the government. This, as Nicole said, this is like part 1 of our case study on this ongoing flip that we're currently doing. So next week, we're going to have a guest speaker. It's a little longer, 45-minute talk. And the week after that, we're going to go over rehab numbers, the contract and the particulars in the contract, earnest money deposit, how you deal with that, and where you put the earnest money and how it's secure and safe. The closing title, the whole closing paperwork documents, the title company, and insurance, type of insurance, and when to put insurance on the house.
And we have already closed this one. We're going to hold off in there because there was some nuances with this as we were traveling, and closing documents had to be in and different stuff. So we'll kind of get into those little particulars that happen that you don't account for, that then you have to account for.
That is one good thing when you build a relationship with the closing, you know, everybody that you come into contact with, build a relationship with them. Then they know, like, and trust you, like the closing company, they work with you. Like Jane said, we were out of the country. We were going out of the country as this was all coming together. So we were able to smoothly transition and get it done in time so that we got that discounted price. And a cute little slide in there. My mom's a real estate investors. Investors are very strong. They can flip a house. And there's our golden retriever, Bodie.
That's awesome.
And again, Jane and Sharon Virtual REI Academy. And there's our email. And feel free to reach out, and I'll stop sharing so we can do some question and answer.
Any questions on this or anything else?
I put all your links in the chat, by the way, the free webinar with all the extra strategies and your emails, and the Academy website with some free stuff as well.
Thank you. Appreciate
You're
that.
awesome, James.
Hey, this is so
Really?
instead of doing a rehab for this project, can you just rent it out, just do some minor repairs and paint and rent it out, because you seem like getting a good rent for the money that you're paying for the house?
We could do that. We absolutely could. And that would be another strategy. We just wanted to add the extra bedroom and bathroom to make it more bang for a buck. Even if we do rent it, we'll get higher rental numbers with the extra bedroom and bathroom. That would be more sought after, especially, most people want 2 bathrooms instead of 1, and that's just 1 bathroom. So
And it also goes back to, like you try to keep your contractor busy. Like there's a fine line that you have to keep him, you have to keep them busy enough that they don't have to go elsewhere looking for a lot of different work. So we're trying to also keep him busy enough that he's, doing rehabs. You don't want to overburden him, but it's also at the same time, it's a good time for him. So that kind of went into the play where, we can put, not as much money in, we can flip it and then turn around, take that money, maybe buy a rental that's not as much of a rehab, and just kind of, it just kind of goes back and forth. We haven't flipped anything probably in a year with him, or 8 months, something like that. So now it's time to flip one. But then again, if things go not the way we think, or the comps, or you can't get qualified buyers, interest rates, whatever it is, we still have that exit strategy that we made a very nice house that's going to turn into a rental. So yeah.
Okay, good.
And we have keeping in mind that he has more houses that we could acquire too. So see how that works. Anybody else? Jean?
Yes, actually, thank you. Yeah, Roy kind of took my question, but I'll second that with the fact of yeah, because when I'm looking at the numbers, 42,070 all in, 112 all in. Is it 70 all in? So it's 40 plus 30. So you're all in 70,000, right?
Yeah, we're definitely all in for 70.
Wow, that's amazing. That's a killer bird, right? So I
Yeah.
guess yeah. So I guess my question is yeah, why wouldn't you keep it? And more general, then what is your criteria for keeping versus flipping?
Yeah, it just depends on where we're at. We want to do a quick flip with him. So, either way we can keep it, but this particular one we just want to flip. We'll see if the seller has any other ones that he wants to, send out. Again, it's like keeping your private money busy, keeping some of our own money working. It's just, this one is just a flip for us. So it's no special criteria. It's just this is the one we want to flip. We think, like some of the ones we come across, we know it's a rental. We just think this one it's in a nice area. It's in the amount is a good amount for that particular neighborhood, where it shouldn't be hard to get somebody qualified to get in there, where we don't have to pay a lot of concessions, and we just think this one works out as a better flip.
And, and Jane's also right. Sometimes with how we acquire the money, some of the lenders want their money back more quickly. Others will be more long term. Some money's more expensive. There's a couple lenders that we've came upon that we haven't used before. So we like to do a couple quick flips with them first to have them, trust in us, trust in the process, and then we'll go to them with a longer maybe it's spread out like 5 years or 10 years, or be able to refinance out of it, or that sort of thing. So we kind of feel out the our investing partners or our lenders to make sure that everybody's comfortable. So we've had, unfortunately, the last couple of years, we've had money lenders that we thought that they would be really good, and we built a good rapport with them, and then they just got scared at the last minute and wanted their money back quickly. So we figure we'll build up slowly with, maybe we always look at things like, what did we do wrong? Instead of holding, we hold ourselves accountable. So we thought, well, maybe we went too fast with them. So we want to slow down and take things slower with them, so that they, get to understand the whole system, and, work with them and build up slowly. So then we can start using them for longer term deals.
Plus, we needed something to talk about for the next couple months. Just kidding. Just kidding.
There's no,
We just go ahead.
No, I find it very interesting because, it wasn't necessarily the property, it was the financing. You wanted to make sure it was stable long term going
A
forward.
little bit of everything, and keeping Javier busy is that, just giving him a good project to dig into, instead of, just he's been doing some little minor stuff for some of the rentals, and just keeping him a little bit busy.
And he was really excited about doing this flip. And, oftentimes he does, when he has a bit of money, then he puts it into our projects with us. So he might be trying to get a little more money in cash to do something else with too. So we wanted to make sure that he gets, what he's looking for out of it too, because he was very excited to flip this one, market flip.
Nice. I mean, it's a great spread. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else have any questions or comments? You can even ask questions about other things. It doesn't necessarily have to be the content here. Or if anybody has a house they're looking at, or, property or something they want to go over.
Oh my goodness, a quiet group.
All right, I'll ask a question and then I have a comment as well. So,
Sure.
in terms of the level of rehab that you do, I guess for a rental, you have one level of rehab, and then for a flip, you have another level of rehab.
Correct.
So I guess you're going in with the idea that you're gonna have a flip rehab. Is there anything you can do if it turns out that, interest rates go to 10 or 12 and people can't afford anything, that you turn into a rental? Is there anything you can do because you dropped another 5, 6, 10 grand or whatever it is to really make it nice? Or you just kind of say, it's just the way the ball rolled and I'm just going to leave it the way it is?
Yeah, I think at that point it would just be a really nice rental. We have done that before where and that was specifically in Baltimore where it was over, and then the part with that just stinks that, if the people go in there and tear it up, but he's our property management is also pretty good about, making sure that they're vetted. So even when they do leave, it has been pretty decent. But yeah, we would probably, I mean, we're pretty certain this will be it's going to be a good flip. And, that's just always worst case scenario. But, no matter what, we're going to be in for 70 and, the rent number still way makes sense. It's just going to be a very nice rental for somebody, which maybe gets us a better qualified person and a better person that's going to want to stay there, longer.
Yeah, even if we do like Section 8, if we do that program, then that's true. If we do get a good qualified person, then they might want to stay there for life if we have a nice house available for them. And sometimes when you do a little upgrades or extras for the rentals, it actually lasts longer. Like, yeah, I've seen people that have rentals where, the flooring is, for an example, they'll put like the luxury vinyl floors, waterproof floors into their flips, but not their rentals. Well, to me, it would make sense to do that to the rentals too, because you're maintaining the integrity of the floors. If there's a leak or they spill something on it, it's going to be that waterproof. So sometimes the upgrade for rentals isn't a bad idea because it lasts longer, and then you won't have to flip, to repair things as
Right.
often. So
That's awesome. And then my comment, both of you have had I think we're going to go with this, but both of you have had a consistent theme ever since we started this. And I don't know if the people online have noticed this, but they've had tremendous success. And in every time I talk to them, they're always talking about relationships. It's all about relationships, all about relationships, all about relationships. And so when someone may look at a property and go, wow, something, why would I share that with somebody? I pocket 70 grand or 50 grand, whatever it may be. I think your thought process is more of, something, our relationship with Javi is important enough that we're going to do what we need to do to make sure that the relationship continues. So not only do you seem to always have that underlying value of relationships, but you're also very much long-term thinkers, right? So it's not about get the money now and move on to the next one. You're more like, we'll get some money now, but we'll be, keep getting deals as time goes on or whatever it is. And I think that, that is a huge part of your success, that your relationships are so good and you're more of a long-term thinker. And I think that if people could understand those two nuggets, I think everyone would do really, really well, no matter what they did.
I agree. And you're right. You really do have to be a long-term thinker with real estate investing, because some of our relationships that we've built, we had to churn them and build them for 3-4 years before it comes to fruition, where they know, like, and trust us, where we can work with them and everybody's comfortable and happy. We just Jane's talking to this lady that we've met probably in 2017, and we knew she was a money lender, and she does real estate deals as well. And she just now started the last 2 or 3 months taken a notice. And she just reached out to Jane and asked if she could take us out to dinner. So, and that's from building a relationship with her from, what was it, 2017?
Yeah, probably.
So sometimes it takes a long time and you have to be patient, and like you hit the nail on the head, you really have to be a long-term thinker.
And sometimes you're not ready for the relationship that is gonna come about. But, if you just write people off or you don't, kind of keep in contact. And I mean, I'll go back to James and Nicole, who, at 2016, we took their class, and, and that's something for you guys too. Like if you're thinking about taking that class and, I'm not ready yet or this or that, like still take the class, because there's so much information there that, like, now, like some of the information from that class in 2016, like, it resonates with us, because we weren't ready to hear it then, but now the second time we're kind of hearing it. So we're excited for the class that's coming up in November. And it's just information that now we're a little bit more ready to hear. And who knew that we would be kind of partnering with them on the residential side in 2016, when I was that little introvert sitting in the class saying, why am I even here? It's like I think we went to maybe had coffee with James, shortly thereafter, and then went to some of those meetings, but then we moved to Florida. But here we are in 2023 and kind of full circle coming back. But so you never know who's gonna kind of pop up in a different scenario, or you can help them out or they can help you out, and just keeping those relationships, keeping everybody happy.
And just the value of that class, and how inexpensive it is, and how vast and how much wealth of information that it provides. There's not many people out there that teach multifamily, and certainly not anybody out
Teach
there
it
that
well.
teach it well and teach it. So, there's, from grassroots all the way up, and and they'll answer all your questions. They probably care about your success more than you care about your success. It's definitely a no-brainer.
And we were just on a call earlier with another group we're in, and a couple people that had, quite a few multifamily doors. Like they're having those problems with,
Mhm.
putting them more money into, because the interest rates are having to decide whether to cash out, because they should have sold them earlier. So there's a lot of moving parts with multifamily. Like, so we're kind of a little bit excited because we're not in multifamily yet, but certainly we're probably going to try to get it. I mean, we hang out with James and Nicole, right? So why wouldn't we? But there's just so much getting ready to happen with multifamily, so many opportunities. So if you're out there and you have the information, then you're going to be able to do better with that. And I didn't mean to turn this into multifamily, but it's just there's a lot out there, and there's a lot coming. Residential is, I think residential is kind of going to be a lot tougher, because the people in the house getting 2.6% aren't going to leave their house anytime soon, because they're, then they have to flip to a 7.7 or whatever the going rate is. So they're going to be less likely to sell, so you're going to have to depend on foreclosures. It's going to be a tough market. So it's going to be a lot harder in residential, and I think there's going to be a lot more opportunity in multifamily. So kind of taking the best of both worlds and meshing it together.
Absolutely, because like we teach a lot of creative strategies. The four of us, James and Nicole, and the two of us teach a lot of creative strategies to overcome these sort of things. So it's definitely good to have all your ducks in a row. Understand all the different strategies that's afforded to you that a lot of other investors just don't use, and then you'd have the leg up on it no matter what type of investing you do.
That's so true. I mean, I think even if you just wanted to wholesale a deal, and in terms of multifamily, we're going to go take a look at well, not go, but I guess we're going to look at that Michigan deal or something like that, right? For the multifamily.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
that's awesome. So good deal.
We have a couple multifamily irons in the fire too that we're reaching out to James and Nicole for some help. So,
And I hate to say it, but where did that come from? That came from a relationship from another group, from probably a cruise that we took. Well, it was definitely pre-COVID, so maybe 2018. Just somebody we kept in contact with, and I had just happened to. I knew they had a multifamily they were trying to sell a couple years ago, and I said, "How'd that go?" And they said, "Well, it's still for sale." And I'm like, "Oh, well, I might know something about multifamily now." So again, relationship.
and from the beginning, we just didn't understand that or get that at the beginning, but it's just, things propel so much faster when you build the relationships and you put yourself out there. And it just want you guys to get a leg up and, get it, just build those relationships quick. And the sooner you do, the quicker they'll come to fruition and blossom.
Lena, you have a question?
Yes, I wanted to ask you a question, and I apologize in advance if it's already been, I guess, told. For how long have you been, guys, doing these, I guess, trainings to teach others how to invest in multifamily?
Yeah, we just the beginning of the year, we spoke with James and Nicole, and they asked us to help out with the residential. So probably February, I think we started these Tuesdays, and we would like to do a little bit more, just a little more advanced stuff. Maybe I think next week we're gonna actually do a little bit deeper in with virtual and how we get deals and actually vet them through virtual. And then we might I think we're still talking about maybe a 4-day class with some fun involved in February down here in Florida, since that's where we are, and it'll be cold up there in Maryland, and you won't have to shovel snow. You can come down and be warm
and have a little vacation, and then you can write off your vacation, because it's a business travel.
So since February, we've been doing the teaching Tuesdays.
Great.
Did that answer your question?
Yes, it did. And I have one more question. When you said you'll be teaching creative financing, are you talking about kind of taking over of the current owner loan?
One tactic,
Yeah.
That's definitely one tactic.
It's up to, yeah, okay.
And then just like not only acquiring and buying the properties with creative financing and creative ways to structure deals, but then when you have an end buyer in mind, you can do creative strategies that way too. Not instead of just a straight rental, you can do a lease option, or you can, find different government programs to help your end buyers or your renters.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. Yes, you're right. Nicest beaches in the country.
And since your blood's not thin yet from being down here, you could swim in January and February.
The one thing I hate the most of anything, and my wife knows this, is cold water. It's like I just can't handle it. I'm a wimp when it comes to cold water. So
we are now. We didn't used to be. We used to do the polar bear plunge up there, and now you would think it was like
yeah, we would do polar bear plunge for Special Olympics, where in end of January, beginning of February, you had to jump and plunge into the Chesapeake.
Yeah, I think I'll just write a check.
Yeah.
What's the fun in that?
I don't know if you saw in the chat, Jean had some very nice things to say.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mr. Radio Voice.
Oh, and Joe said thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it.
Sharing training with us. That means a lot. It means a lot that we're hoping that's what we really want to add value to people, and make sure you're doing.
You don't do the things that we did.
Exactly.
I did.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I did have a question around similar to so Nicole said she invests in tertiary markets. Is that the same strategy you use, or a different strategy?
Yeah, and that came about a little bit, I mean, we were in the Baltimore area, and it's just like the code violations, and then a couple other areas that we liked the area, but it just turned out, like the code violations or the just nitpicky little stuff. Gary is the one place that we do, like the code violation people are not as crazy there, so they're not. I mean, I had a house in Baltimore. We closed on it, and the next day they were like, you put windows in and the grass is high and this and that. Like I swear they must have got notification from the title company, and they rode around and just started, you know, shooting out code violations. Gary is not so strict with that stuff, so that's one of the reasons we stay in that area. But we like the outside suburban areas, or even out in the country with the, because we do sell on owner finance land contracts. So sometimes those areas where, and it could be a mobile home on an acre of land. We have two of them in South Carolina, and they went very quick because it was that land, it was a whole acre for each of them. And then, even though it was a mobile home, it was nice, it was livable, it was, a good area. It was a 3-2. So they wanted the land, and it just makes them go quicker, and you don't have the code violations all the time.
Was this in the city or in the county, Baltimore?
Baltimore City.
Yeah, I
And
got
it's-
out because of all that. They're targeting investors, and I'm kind of getting tired of it.
Yeah, and it's just like another house we had. And I don't like to bash Baltimore City all the time, but it's just like we had a house. The one house next to us was owned by Baltimore City, like in the records. It's Baltimore City owns this one, and then they're going to tell us our grass is high when theirs is like over the door.
This was a
So
jungle.
yeah, right. Theirs is a jungle, and our little grass gets a little high, a week after we close, and they're sending us code violations and stuff. So it just makes it harder, and it makes it harder, for that stuff when we're out of town. It just, because then you have to rely on the property manager, you have to rely on the contractor, and everybody else just gets busy, So it's like that would be one of those things we could just run down and take care of ourselves. But when you're virtual, it just makes it harder.
Thank you.
Maybe there's a question
course.
for everybody, but for Gene and Jane and Sharon, or anybody else that's in the area. I've heard, all the stuff about Baltimore City as well. Is Baltimore County much more lenient, or is it just kind of the same thing?
Most of my stuff is. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Gene.
I sold my stuff in 2021 to get out the city. I only have one duplex, and I'm in the county. A lot better.
Really?
I really do. I really do think. And by the way, it's not just me. So I'm not bashing here. This is natural facts. When I go, this is the last 3 years of going to title, and even the title companies are complaining about. Hold on, Gene. Is this in this? Oh, this is in the county. Okay, you're good. Because if it was in the city, you'd add another month, right?
Yeah.
I agree with.
Yeah, that's something to look forward to, like the water bills, and I don't know, they're like still silly with that, but
Yes.
and then when there was that ransomware or whatever, like that was just an absolute nightmare, and you just don't deal with that kind of stuff usually
In the
in other
county.
areas or the rural areas. You just don't have like the water bills alone. Oh my God, I think that's where half my gray hair came from. It's like, Lord.
Same.
I'm still getting a water bill from Baltimore City from a flip I did like 7 years ago.
Wow.
I believe it. We wholesaled one house up there, and they still like they send us the bill. Like, luckily we have a relationship with the other people, but
Right.
it's like, they still send us the water bills and the tax bills, and like they never did get that straight, and it was one of those COVID things. So I don't know if they just
Fell through the cracks.
messed all that up,
Yeah,
or
that's crazy.
My last rent, if I was a graffiti artist, I'd change Charm City to Scam City.
yeah.
And it is sad. It's so sad that, they're not more receptive of investors going in there and, changing it, and, they could, buy the whole block and bring it back up. There's so much that investors could do if they
I
would
don't
just-
think they see the long picture where I mean, there are bad investors. I mean, there's people that just gonna be slumlords or whatever, do whatever they do, but I think a good percentage of the people want to bring the properties up, bring the property values. I mean, that's the goal. And by them putting all these fees and targeting people just makes people stay away. So I don't get it. I don't think they see the long picture.
I will have to say this since I feel bad for bashing as well, is and to address this issue is, so I bought a condo in where's this place? It's right near Penn Station.
Mhm.
And I was gonna Airbnb it. Turned out I couldn't. I kept that one. That neighborhood is really nice. In fact, I was there this weekend and had a Greek festival. And you know, I think to answer the question is that even that area, even though I missed the mark and I misjudged it and turned it into a long-term rental, values are still going up. It's a great neighborhood. And so even when I'm wrong, I'm still winning because the neighborhood is good. And unfortunately, I feel
Awesome.
with Baltimore City that in general, some of these areas are so blighted that investors are turned out to be the target because they're trying to find ways to raise revenue for the city. So the lesson I'm learning is that, you know, if you're running in good neighborhoods, just like it's trickle down negative, because if it's a bad neighborhood, it's going to continue to be bad, and then you get caught in that. Likewise, if you're in a good neighborhood, it's trickling up even if you make a mistake.
That's a good point. That's a
Congrats. Good job.
I know, that's awesome. I know, because I was little, I grew up in the city. I went to University of Baltimore. It's like I just wanted to turn around and be a great city again. It's just it's heartbreaking to see that it's like that.
Any other questions, comments, anything we can help you with? Anything you can help us with? No? All right, I guess we will call it a night.
And next week is the
Yeah, I think next week we're doing the virtual, that's the 45-minute
okay.
thing. So we're just gonna do a quick presentation on virtual, and then by then we'll probably have more to report from the rehab. So we'll probably do that the week after that. So we'll just do a continuation, and then we will be digging in.
And keep giving updates until it closes and let you know the good, the bad, and the ugly with that.
And I'm sure there will be some kind of ugly.
There's always
is.
there's always something
Something we didn't plan on.
yes, ups or uh-oh or something that, opened up this wall and found this, but you always build reserves for that. Always. That's why we're conservative with our numbers.
All right, guys. James, thanks for putting all those in the, I don't know how we're gonna have to learn how to do that.
I know.
At some point. But all right, guys, have a good night, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.